entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
So, Dante, I got two names for you tonight: Cam Newton and Jason Whitlock.
Oh, man.
So, we've all been seeing the back and forth between Cam Newton and Jason Whitlock over the past week or so, involving Joy Taylor primarily, FS1, but it became a little personal between Jason Whitlock and Cam Newton. And it made me start to think about Cam has evolved over the past several years. So maybe want to ask you or talk to you about the evolution of Cam Newton.
Okay, what do you mean by the evolution?
So, as we all know, Cam Newton has had his controversies in the past, right? So I want to present to you my case for what happened to Cam. He would score touchdowns. He was super Cam, right?
Mhm.
And now he seems to be kind of simping for Joy Taylor. So I wanted to go back to figure out where and how this evolution of Cam Newton, where it came from. So that's what I want to present to you tonight. This is going to be a little bit different. I want to present to you my case of the evolution of Cam Newton from super Cam to super simp Captain Save a Joy.
All right, let's get into it.
There we go. So, I don't know if you recall this, you may, was Cam's Newton inappropriate comment to a female reporter's question? That is incident number one in Cam's evolution or Cam's transformation.
Okay.
So here we go.
Cam Newton in the hot seat after making a sexist comment at a press conference. On Wednesday, a female Panthers beat reporter for the Charlotte Observer, Jordan Rodrigue, asked Cam a completely reasonable question about Funch's style of running routes. People were shocked when the QB responded with what can only be construed as a sexist response. Check out the interview.
I know you take a lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality of his routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes. Like, it's funny.
Oh God, the smirk, it's so bad. Why, Cam? Why? It's not like she's the only journalist there who hasn't played football. After the interview, Jordan tweeted, "I don't think it's funny to be a female and talk about routes. I think it's my job." Someone responded, "While I agree with the sentiment, did anyone talk to / confront Cam about his comment? Why try this via social media?" And Jordan replied, quote, "I spoke with him after and it was worse. I chose not to share because I have an actual job to do today and one he will not keep me from."
That was incident number one that occurred in 2017. Any questions?
Now, before I ask, from what I remember, Cam Newton, he won the MVP in 2015, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And the Carolina Panthers made it to the Super Bowl in 2016.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, this happened in 2017. Now, this brings up the question, where was his head at? Like, what was his thought process?
Nobody really knows, right? I mean, that was part of the shock of all of this. Potentially, maybe this was the first question he actually received about like technical things involving the game from a female reporter. I mean, it's really hard to say, but nobody really knows. Even to this day, I don't think nobody really knows what Cam was really thinking.
I guess that's enough said then.
So incident number two, the media's reaction to Cam's comment. The media fallout tends to exacerbate things a bit, as we see with the whole FS1, Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, and Cam was not exempt from that.
Shannon, what's your reaction?
I'm disappointed. It feeds into a old, outdated stereotype that women shouldn't be in a male-dominated field like reporter. And how is she qualified to ask a football question to a professional athlete? We shouldn't even be discussing this. This should be a non-issue in 2017. But I think there's a certain level of respect that you should give her for the simple fact she's doing her job. Skip, this is sad because you remember in 2012, he also called a female reporter sweetheart. Cam, it's 2017. Women are embracing and getting into male-dominated fields. her asking a question is beneath you answering it because you chuckle like it's funny.
Well, I think Cam is incredibly immature, which he's exhibited not just in this situation, but throughout his career. You see the reactions to this all the time whenever women's credibility is questioned. To me, it's not surprising. It saddens me, but it doesn't surprise me. So overall, I'm disappointed. I think it's obviously very disrespectful, but he singled her out. He reacted to her and specifically said he was laughing because she's a woman asking that question.
About routes.
And there are men in this business who have not played the sport that they cover on any competitive level.
Yeah.
It shows his heart, unfortunately, because you could tell it was a natural reaction to her asking the question.
He did. He revealed himself.
Right. And at this point in his career, you can't use the excuse that he's not used to being around female reporters. So it's still where we are. It's 2017. Unfortunately, it's still where we are. But I tell all young women that are getting into the business, they're going to deal with this on some level. You have to carry yourself with respect, care about your reputation.
What was your initial reaction to Cam's comments?
Extreme disappointment. I expected better from him. I expect more from him. If you know anything about Cam, one of the problems that he has is that he thinks too much to the point at times where he overthinks, too sensitive, too cognizant of what other people think, how they may react, and how they may feel. So knowing that, for him to make the statement that he made, to conduct himself the way that he conducted himself, and then to have an opportunity to address it privately with her one-on-one, but refuse to do so, having not apologized, makes it even more alarming.
So there it is. The old Undisputed show with Shannon Skip and Joy Taylor. And then also First Take there with the old First Take, should I say, with Stephen A. and Max Kellerman. So any questions about incident number 2?
There's no questions really. Like I really just agree with them. There's none really to say about what any of them said.
Okay, so we're going to move on to incident number 3. And this is the kind of the final incident that I believe is really cementing Cam's evolution.
Yeah.
So incident number 3 was the Carolina Panthers owner accusations, or not even accusations, the findings of sexual misconduct occurred with the Carolina Panthers, the team organization.
Sexual misconduct scandal hitting the world of sports. The owner of the NFL's Carolina Panthers announcing he'll sell the team after he's accused of sexual harassment. This after Sports Illustrated reports the Panthers settled with 4 former employees after allegations Jerry Richardson sexually harassed several women and used a racial slur toward a scout. Richardson says he'll sell the team after the end of the season.
Some very serious allegations today about your owner, sexual harassment, use of a racial slur. What are your thoughts on that?
I heard about it, but I haven't, really dug into it. And I just recently, seen the internal investigation about all that. But, one thing about it, man, Mr. Richardson has been an unbelievable source in my life.
Outside of your personal experience, though, to what degree do the allegations concern you, particularly in this environment of the Me Too movement? Outside of you knowing all of the details that include possible 4 settlements to female employees, comments made on Jeans Friday about women's bodies and things like that, to what degree does that concern you?
That's just very serious. That's something extremely serious right now, especially when you see so many people getting picked out because of things that they've done in the past. So, I don't take that lightly. I was just telling you my personal experiences with Mr. Richardson, and I hope, things doesn't, alter my thinking of Mr. Richardson. But for what I do know, man, he's given, me some things that, I just will forever be appreciative for.
Okay. Incident number 3, the sexual misconduct allegations involving the former owner of the Carolina Panthers, Jerry Richardson. Any questions on that portion of my case?
It's interesting to say the least how all this happened in 1 year. Before I ask my question, I'm gonna just do a little recap here.
Okay.
So Cam won the MVP in 2015. The Carolina Panthers went to the Super Bowl in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And now 2017, all of this is happening now.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, what do the allegations have to do with Cam?
Well, the allegations of sexual misconduct from the owner, it doesn't directly involve Cam. Like, let's make that clear. But Cam being the quarterback, the leader of the team, generally anything involving the team, if this was the allegations against the player, they probably would have asked Cam about how he felt about the allegations against the player. And the fact that it involved the owner, they're asking Cam because he's the team leader to get his opinion on what he feels like or what he thinks is occurring with the organization.
Okay. So, as a leader, do you think he should have had a better answer?
Yes, because I think he sidestepped that whole question. Like, honestly, I don't even think he really even answered the question. He just said, well, in my opinion, I hope it doesn't change my view of him. Like, I didn't really look into the allegations. Like, he didn't really address it. He just sidestepped it, really. So he didn't really have an answer at all.
Yeah, he did sidestep that question.
Yeah, true with that one.
Yeah.
So I presented my case, but there's one final part. As I mentioned at the very beginning, he and Jason Whitlock got a little personal this week. So this is Cam making it personal with Jason Whitlock. So here we go.
All right.
You're having an outer body experience, and it's time for me to put you back in your body to let you know, bro, you're not that guy, pal.
Yeah.
Joy, is she a very attractive woman? Absolutely. And it's not for me to make inappropriate statements, Jason.
25-year-old with them big cans and that peanut butter skin who has nothing to say. At some point, I'm going to lose respect. And I'm gonna be like, well, the only thing she's got to offer is them big cans and that peanut butter skin. And so if I got to put up with this, I might as well enjoy them big cans.
By saying that rack. Like, bro, come on, bro. Like, all right, let's put it like this, since we want to get personal. Like, yo, who you fucking? Who you sleeping with?
What she look like?
Like, bring her to the forefront.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Him to the forefront, because now you got to be open in these
Yeah,
days.
he's got to be, huh?
You know what I'm saying? And it ain't no shade, but I'm just keeping it a bug. This
Yeah.
is a person who's, bro, like been a villain in the industry for years. So I'm like, bro, we want to see her. Him? Whoever. I'm not judging you, bro. I'm just saying, don't say no inappropriate things like that and not be questioned about that.
I rest my case. I presented my case. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I believe this is growth from Cam based on his prior comments about the female reporter. This is basically him trying to make amends by sticking up for Joy Taylor. That's what I believe.
That's an interesting perspective, right? So I agree with you. I agree this is probably him trying to make up for the ills of what he said in the past, right? To the female reporter. Is it growth in Cam? Potentially. I think it's more he's pandering because now Cam, the athlete, had these particular opinions, right? But now Cam, the media figure, now is pandering to women, trying to craft a slightly different image because people may not go back to 2017. People may not remember these comments of Cam, right? I do. I remember them, but everybody may not see that. So they just see Cam sticking up for Joy and they're like, yeah, we're riding with Cam. I think he's just pandering. And I think ultimately Jason Whitlock was correct in saying that he is Captain Save It Joy. Let me make another statement though. I think he went super personal on Jason Whitlock, talk about who he's having sex with, bring her forward. What does that prove? Like Cam is using these outdated shaming tactics. Like shaming tactics died in 2021, right? The shaming language. So Cam trying to use that as some sort of barometer of what type of man Jason Whitlock is, and he shows up with a certain type of woman, and therefore he's validated in Cam's eyes. Like Cam, that's lame. That was lame as fuck. But go ahead.
Although, yes, you're right. Yes, about like the Jason Whitlock thing. All in all, I do think like it is growth, but it does bring the idea like, hey, he's probably pandering and trying to be on a good graces with Joy Taylor here or women in general. Like you said, well, yeah, maybe people haven't really known his past like that. But probably everyone like swept it under the rug or probably didn't even think about it in general. So
yeah. So back to the original question. Have I presented my case from the evolution of Cam Newton from Super Cam to Super Simp Captain Save-A-Joy? What do you think? In the comments, let me know if I made my case. Although I'm speaking to you, Dante, I'm speaking to everybody. Did I make my case, in your opinion?
I partially agree with you,
Okay.
but I still think it's like growth in some aspect. You know, Cam sticking up for Joy Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, to each his own, really.
But who do you
Like,
think they're going to, whose word do you think they're going to accept? The convenient lies or the uncomfortable truth?
convenient lies all day.
So there you go. They're going to always go to the panderers.
But it's just like when it comes to that if you decide to go with people who pander, then
Mhm.
by that point, it's like you're just doing it to yourself. Like you know they're pandering, so
They don't. It doesn't matter. They're there for the convenient lies. Doesn't matter whether it's true or not.
I
Do you see what I mean? It's like the panderers tend to mess it up because where do you see women pandering to men? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
yeah.
They all stand lockstep and they don't pander to men. But men, it's this kind of, oh, I'll pander sometime. Joy's attractive, so I'm going to stick up for her. But, you know, even in Cam's personal life, I think he has 6 kids by 3 different women. You see what I mean? It's just like, it's not consistent, you know?
True. Yeah. The more you look into it, the less sense it makes.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up. I believe I have proven my case of the evolution of Cam Newton. Airs on Air. Till next time, we out.